Chapter 31. Scarface was stunned for a while. Then he slowly took out his mobile phone and called Lin Tianhu. He didn't know who David was, but he didn't dare to let him call Lin Tianhu. Soon, the phone was connected, and Lin Tianhu's lazy voice came from the opposite side. Obviously, it was time, and Lin Tianhu hadn't gotten up yet. "Master Tiger, someone is making trouble in Antique Street, saying he knows you. Let me call you," Scarface said cautiously. "Who are you? What's your name?" Lin Tianhu asked. "I don't know what his name is, but he wears a copper ring on his hand with a dragon on it. And it seems that there's a command word. Ask me if I recognize it," Scarface said. "Grass." Lin Tianhu jumped off the bed with a squeak when he heard it. "Scarface, I tell you, you have served this man for a long time for me. If you dare to make him unhappy, I will kill you. Family, you remembered it for me." After Lin Tianhu finished speaking, he hung up the phone, put on his clothes, and hurried towards Antique Street. Scarface listened to the busy voice on the other side, and his expression changed. He had followed Lin Tianhu for more than 10 years, and he had never seen Lin Tianhu in such a panic. Putting down the phone, Scar's face looked at David, and the whole person was shaking like a sieve. "Brother Scar, this guy is just talking nonsense. How could Master Tiger know such a stunned young man? He just lied to you. Hurry up and get the jade back." The fat stall owner hadn't noticed the strangeness of Scar's face, so he looked at David with disdain and said, "Snapped." Just finished speaking, Scarface gave the fat stall owner a slap in the face. "You be a five-tard. What nonsense is? It's obviously you who buy and sell. Don't think I don't know. I think you don't want to stay here anymore." The fat stall owner was slapped in the face by the Scar, and he was directly slapped in a circle. He didn't know what happened, but some shrewd people seemed to see something at this time, and knew that David must have a very hard backstage. "Sir, I'm really sorry just now. You rest first. Our Tiger Lord will be here soon." Scar followed David with a flattering face. He didn't know David, and he didn't know that David was the master of their dragon sect. In fact, many members of Juyi Hall didn't even know that they were members of the dragon sect. These were all secrets, and only a few insiders knew about them. As soon as David heard that Lin Tianhu was coming, he planned to wait a while. He searched blindly like him, not knowing when he would find the spirit pen and cinnabar. Since Lin Tianhu is covering the Antique Street, he must be familiar with the things here. So David planned to ask Lin Tianhu, "Don't hurry up and bring a chair for Mr." Scarface kicked the fat stall owner fiercely. "Oh!" The fat stall owner was stupid and hurriedly moved a chair from the room and let David sit down. About 10 minutes later, there was a sudden brake sound, and Lin Tianhu opened the door and ran over. Everyone looked at Lin Tianhu coming. All lowered their heads, and no one dared to carry them away, while Lin Tianhu ran to David and panted, "Dian, Mr. Chen, when you come to Antique Street, let me know in advance. I'm still with you. I'm familiar with this area. I'm just wandering around," David said lightly. Lin Tianhu looked at Scarface and asked, "Scarface, what's going on?" Scar's face wasn't very clear either, so he could only tell what he knew in 1510. Lin Tianhu was not stupid. He could understand what was going on just by guessing. "Damn, using my name to cheat and kidnap here, damn it." Lin Tianhu cursed, smashed the booth, threw this guy out with broken limbs, and never allowed to enter the Antique Street again. When the fat stall owner heard this, he was immediately frightened and slumped on the ground. "Master Tiger, Lord Tiger, spare your life." The fat stall owner kept begging for mercy, but it was useless at all, and soon screams sounded, and the fat stall owner was carried away. Everyone was so scared that their faces turned pale, especially the nearby stall owners who had just yelled at David, and some of them were scared to pee their pants. Chapter 32. Scarface. "Let these people go. What's so beautiful?" Lin Tianhu said to the scarred face. Get out of here. There's nothing to see, and whoever of you dares to forcefully buy and forcefully sell in the future, this is the end." Scarface roared at everyone, scaring everyone to run away. "Mr. Chun, don't know what you like? There's nothing good here. It's all street goods, and the real good things are still inside." Lin Tianhu said to David, "I want to buy a spirit pen and cinnabar. I don't know if there are any here." David asked Lin Tianhu, Lin Tianhu was stunned for a moment. He didn't understand what the spirit pen David was talking about. And that cinnabar, wasn't it all over the place? But Lin Tianhu didn't dare to ask, so he could only respectfully say, Mr. Chen, I'll take you to a few antiques for a walk. You can see if there is anything you want. I don't know much about this business. Okay, lead the way. David nodded. Lin Tianhu personally led the way, and the bosses of the antique shops took out all the treasures of the housekeeping, but none of them were favored by David. This time, Lin Tianhu was in a bit of trouble. Mr. Chen, the antique street is so big. All the good things are here, and there is still nothing that Mr. Chen needs. Why don't I send the brothers to look for it elsewhere? No need. This kind of thing can be encountered but not asked for. Even if you encounter it, it's useless if you don't understand it. David waved his hand. It would be useless to ask more people to look for it. That's true. Lin Tianhu nodded. Go ahead, I should go back too. Since there is none, David doesn't want to stay any longer. But just as David was about to leave, Lin Tianhu seemed to remember something and immediately stopped David and said, Mr. Chen, wait a minute. Anything else? David asked. Mr. Chen, I suddenly remembered that there is a place where there may be something you need. After Lin Tianhu finished speaking, he ordered someone to drive the car and asked David to get in the car. In the car, Lin Tianhu introduced him. It turned out that the place he took David to was a mansion. The owner of the mansion was Gu Wentian, who was once a retired officer from the provincial government. After retreating, Gu Wentian built a mansion in a beautiful place in Horrendal and then took care of him for a long time. However, Gu Wentian has a hobby, that is to collect antiques. In Gu Wentian's yard, there are antiques everywhere. Some of them are bought from abroad. Compared with Gu Wentian's house, Antique Street is really not one of them. Class. David didn't expect that such a big man would still have such a big man in Horrendal. If it weren't for the fact that he had learned the skills from the old master for 3 years, the ordinary David would not have come into contact with these big men at all. Soon, the car stopped in a quaint house, and a servant hurried over, followed Lin Tianhu, and whispered a few words, and ran back to the house. Soon, an old man with a gray beard and leaning on a cane walked out. After seeing Lin Tianhu, the old man laughed and said, It's a rare visitor to see Lord Tiger. Ancient, you are breaking me. Just call me Xiaohu, or Lin Tianhu. In front of you, how dare I call myself a master? Lin Tianhu hurriedly took 2 steps forward to meet him and said politely, The provincial government official, although he has retired, his energy is not small, so Lin Tianhu does not dare to offend him. After Gu Wentian chatted with Lin Tianhu for a few words, he saw David beside him, looked at him, and asked, Master Hu, this young man is a little shy. This is Mr. Chen. This time, I took Mr. Chen to disturb Gu, and I hope Gu will not take offense. Lin Tianhu hurriedly explained. Hearing that Lin Tianhu addressed David, who was only in his early 20s, as Mr. Gu Wentian's eyes flashed with surprise, but it was only fleeting. Chapter 33, Come in, you two. Gu Wentian nodded slightly towards David. It was considered a greeting. In his opinion, a young descendant in his early 20s who can be called a gentleman by Lin Tianhu must be rich and powerful in his family. So he is so respected by Lin Tianhu, not because of his strength. Lin Tianhu and David walked into Gu Wentian's house. As soon as they entered, David felt a burst of strong spiritual energy. There were several big trees in the yard that were thick enough to hug, blocking a large area of sunlight. Continue to walk forward, rockery and flowing water, buildings and pavilions. Every place exudes a strong, ancient fragrance. How old are these ancient trees? David looked at the big trees and couldn't help asking. Because these rich auras are all emitted from these big trees. Mr. Chen, these ancient trees are all hundreds of years old, and it is because of these trees that the ancient courtyard was built here. Lin Tianhu followed David to explain. David nodded slightly, and he understood why Gu Wentian, a provincial official, chose to come to this little Horrendal to live in his old age. This place has plenty of aura, which is really suitable for old age, and living here for a long time, after being nourished by aura, the body will become younger and tougher. After passing through a corridor, Gu Wentian led Lin Tianhu and David into the hall. The entire hall was filled with antique furniture, each with a history of over 100 years. There was even a dragon chair carved with 9 giant dragons. In the middle of the hall, there is a golden cushion on the dragon chair, and it seems that someone often sits on it. David frowned slightly at the dragon chair, and his expression became a little weird. "Sit down, you two." Gu Wentian waved his hand casually, and then sat directly on the dragon chair. After Lin Tianhu and David were seated, Gu Wentian asked the servants to pour tea. "Master Tiger, go to the 3 Treasures Hall for everything. If you need the help of this old man, just say it." Gu Wentian knew that Lin Tianhu was coming, so he must have something to look for. Lin Tianhu looked at David, and David said, "We know that the ancients love to collect, so we want to ask whether there are spirit pens here in ancient times, the brushes used by ancient great writers, and the cinnabar made from animal blood." Ling pen. Gu Wentian frowned slightly and thought. "Ancient. Of course we won't want ancient things for nothing. As long as there is ancient here, the price is as old as possible. And Lin Tianhu, will never pay back." Lin Tianhu hurriedly said in order to prevent Gu Wentian from worrying. "What did Hu Yi say?" Gu Wentian smiled lightly. "If I have it, it's okay to give it to you. Does money mean anything to me?" Yes. The ancients regarded money as dung." Lin Tianhu nodded again and again. "Things like brushes are consumables, so it's almost impossible to keep used brushes. As for the cinnabar, made of animal blood, I have never heard of it." Gu Wentian shook his head, but then continued. "But to find this kind of thing, maybe there are more Taoist temples than me here. After all, these Taoist priests need to draw talismans to exorcise ghosts, and the brushes they use may have spirituality." As soon as Gu Wentian's words fell, David was instantly overjoyed, but he forgot about it. The brushes used by the Taoists to exorcise ghosts and draw talismans must have spirituality, including the cinnabar used, so go directly to the Taoist sect to find them. Why come to Antique Street to look around? "Thank you for reminding Gu." David got up and gave Gu Wentian a salute. "Ha ha ha. You're welcome. I just mentioned it casually." Gu Wentian laughed. "Ancient, dare to ask the dragon chair under you. Where did it come from?" David asked. "What? You can see how extraordinary this dragon chair is." Gu Wentian said with a proud face, "I bought this dragon chair from abroad with a lot of money. This is a real dragon chair from the Ming Dynasty. The real dragon and the emperor sat on it." Gu Wentian gently stroked the dragon chair under him, and it was obvious that he liked it very much. Chapter 34. The dragon chair is a status symbol, and it is quite imposing to sit under him. Although Gu Wentian has collected a lot of things, this dragon chair is his favorite thing. "Majesty, Ancient, I advise you to burn the dragon chair. Maybe you can live longer." David persuaded Gu Wentian. "What do you mean?" Gu Wentian frowned. "You're so young. Are you cursing me to death?" Gu Wentian was angry. If it wasn't for Lin Tianhu's face, David would not have the right to enter his courtyard. Now this David is actually speaking falsely. How can Gu Wentian not be angry? The ancients calmed down. Mr. Chen must have his reasons for saying so. Lin Tianhu hurriedly stood up to dissuade Gu Wentian, then looked at David and said, "Since Mr. Chen sees some clues, I hope he can truthfully explain that Gu is not an outsider." Of course, Lin Tianhu knew that David had the ability, otherwise he would be the master of the dragon sect. "Boy, you can't tell the reason today. No one can save you." Gu Wentian snorted coldly and stood up from the dragon chair. David was not in a hurry and smiled lightly. This dragon chair is really a thing of the emperor, and it is indeed a thing of the Ming Dynasty. It's a pity that this dragon chair is full of resentment. If I'm not wrong, the former emperor wants it is to die on this dragon chair. Otherwise, there will be no such great resentment. The reason why I didn't feel anything when sitting on the dragon chair in ancient times is because this place is full of spiritual energy, and it is a land of outstanding places. It temporarily suppressed the resentment on the dragon chair, but now the 9 dragons on the dragon chair are full of resentment. If you keep it, I'm afraid you will die soon. Didn't you see that the 9 dragon heads on the dragon chair are faintly black? After David finished speaking, Gu Wentian shuddered in consciousness and hurriedly looked at his dragon chair. Sure enough, he saw that the color of the 9 dragon heads was a little different from other places, and it became a little black. Boy, don't bluff me. This faucet's blackening is also caused by oxidation for a long time. What kind of resentment is rushing? It's just nonsense. Gu asked the weather, suddenly slapped the table, and said, "If you don't believe me, forget it." David smiled disdainfully. "I wanted to save your life for the sake of you reminding me, but you didn't appreciate it. Maybe this is your fate. Don't look at you feeling well now. But every night you will have nightmares, dreaming that you are trapped by pythons, and finally wake up from suffocation. You have had such a dream for at least a month." After David finished speaking, he turned around and left. "Mr. Chen." Lin Tianhu looked embarrassed and hurriedly chased after him. At this time, Gu Wentian stood there in a daze, and now he has already shaken the river and the sea. To know what he was dreaming, he had never mentioned it to anyone. How could David know it? And he knew it so carefully. Wait a moment. Gu Wentian quickly chased after him and stopped David. "What? Am I right?" David asked Gu Wentian. Gu Wentian was full of embarrassment and finally nodded and said, "Little, Mr. Chen is right. I have been plagued by nightmares recently, and I have the same dream every day. It has been bothering me for a long time." The python in the dream is the 9 dragons on the dragon chair. Now the 9 dragons are full of grievances, and they have not completely turned black. If the 9 dragons turn black, even if the Luo Jingxian descends to the world, I am afraid that they will not be able to save you. David said lightly, "Then what should I do now?" Gu Wentian already had confidence in David at this time. "To burn this dragon chair, you can't burn it with ordinary fire, but use paper money to light the dragon chair and burn it thoroughly." David said, "This." Gu Wentian looked at the dragon chair. His eyes were full of regret. "You must know that this dragon chair was bought from abroad after a lot of effort, and it suddenly burned down." Gu Wentian was a little reluctant, so he asked David, "Mr. Chen, besides burning the dragon chair, is there any other way?" Chapter 35, yes. David nodded. "I can suck away the resentment on the dragon chair and eliminate these resentful dragons." When Gu Wentian heard this, he was overjoyed. "Then ask Mr. Chen to do it. Why should I help you? In your opinion, am I not a liar?" David sneered. When Gu Wentian heard this, he immediately said with a face full of shame, "Mr. Chen, it's the old man Meng Lang. I don't know how he offended Mr. Chen. I hope Mr. Chen will not care about it and can save the old man's life." Gu Wentian's attitude is very sincere, and his face is sincerely begging David. Seeing this, Lin Tianhu also said to David, "Mr. Chen, Gu has no intention of offending, and I hope that Mr. Chen will help Gu, and we will still be able to use ancient places in the future." Lin Tianhu's meaning is obvious. That is, Jui Hall is developing in Horrendal, and there is still a place where Gu Wentian can be used. Now that David is helping Gu Wentian, it can be regarded as helping Taipei Hall himself. In the future, as long as Mr. Chen is useful to get the old man's place, I am bound to. Gu Wentian expresses his position quickly. Seeing this, David nodded and said, "I'll help you kill these resentful dragons." With that said, David walked to the dragon chair and suddenly pressed a hand on the head of the dragon, and then a strange scene happened. I saw the carved dragon, and at this time it began to glow with a faint golden light. Immediately after, a dragon roar sounded, and the sound was very miserable. Lin Tianhu and Gu Wentian were both shocked. They saw that under the golden light, the 9 dragons all moved, and then they all rose into the air. The 9 dragons exuded black energy and glared at David angrily. It seems that David ruined their good things. In an instant, the entire hall was enveloped in black air, and Lin Tianhu and Gu Wentian suddenly had difficulty breathing. Several 100-year-old trees in the yard also seemed to sense something, and they started to move automatically without wind, and the leaves clattered into a ball. Lin Tianhu and Gu Wentian stared at the giant dragon in stunned eyes. Especially Gu Wentian, his whole body was soaked wet. This is the dragon chair he sits on every day. There is such an evil thing in it. Thinking about it makes me feel scared. A few broken dragons, who have transformed into resentment, dare to go wild. David's expression was indifferent, and he saw that he flicked his hands, and the golden light instantly disappeared into the bodies of those giant dragons. Immediately afterwards, another dragon roar sounded, and several giant dragons disappeared, turning into a cloud of black air, shrouded in David. David opened his mouth and inhaled suddenly. All the black air was sucked into his stomach by David. In an instant, calm was restored in the hall. The concentration technique taught by Irvin is really a good thing, and it can even refine grievances. David was overjoyed. In addition to refining spiritual energy, this condensing heart art can be refined into its own strength, whether it is resentment or anger. Just now that these grievances were over, David could feel that his strength had improved a lot. After a while, Gu Wentian woke up from the shock and hurriedly stepped forward and bowed to David. "Thank you, Mr. Chen, for saving your life. I will never forget it." "You're welcome. You and I each ask what we need." David waved his hand. This resentment is absorbed and refined, which is more effective than David's practice for 10 days and a half months. Gu Wentian was stunned for a moment. He didn't understand what David meant, but he didn't dare to ask in detail. After all, for an immortal like David, many things were incomprehensible to ordinary people. "Mr. Chen, then this dragon chair." Gu Wentian looked at the dragon chair and asked carefully. "Now this dragon chair has become an ordinary chair, and it has no other use except to satisfy your psychology. But it is a few ancient trees in the yard. You need to take care of them carefully. They are your longevity and health. The foundation of the body." David looked at a few ancient trees outside and said, "It's a pity that this kind of ancient tree can't be transplanted." Otherwise, David really wanted to get a few to go to the top of Pine Bay. The aura emanating from this ancient tree can just help him cultivate. Chapter 36. Okay, I will definitely send someone to take good care of those ancient trees. In addition, I will find the spiritual pen and cinnabar that Mr. Chen needs. I will find it from Mr. Chen. I am very familiar with the true master of Laming Guan." Gu Wentian said. "Then thank you, Gu." David nodded. "It's getting late. I'm going back too." David looked at the time. It was almost noon, and he was going home for dinner. "If Mr. Chen doesn't dislike it, then have a light meal here, and I will order someone to prepare it." Gu Wentian asked cautiously. The current Gu Wentian, who has long admired David's 5 bodies, wants to find a chance to curry favor with David. David looked at Gu Wentian's expression and nodded. "That would be annoying the ancients." Don't bother. Don't bother." Gu Wentian was overjoyed and immediately ordered people to start preparing meals. In Horrendal Hospital, Jordan's arm has been bandaged, and Delia is taking care of him. "This David, when I get better, I will kill him," Jordan roared, venting the anger in his heart. He interrupted his arm, disturbed his wedding, and made the Shao family a laughing stock in Horrendal. He couldn't swallow this breath. "Brother Lei, don't be angry. I asked Fu Wei to find someone to clean up David. This time, he was looking for Lin Jiazi, and he will definitely beat David to half-death," Delia said while peeling the orange. "If it wasn't for the Su family to block, David would have died a long time ago." Jordan gritted his teeth. His eyes were full of cold light. He took the peeled oranges by Delia and threw them into his mouth. At this moment, Delia's phone rang. After connecting, Delia's expression changed quickly, and then she hung up the phone. "Who?" Jordan asked. Fu Wei called. He said they were beaten by David, and Fu Wei's arm was also broken. Delia frowned. What exactly did David learn in 3 years in prison? How did it change? Do you have to fight like this? Trash. It's your classmates' trash. What kind of trainers and trash they can find. It seems that I have to find it myself. Jordan was even more angry at this time. Looking at Delia in front of him, he pulled over and ripped off his clothes. "Ah, Brother Lei!" Delia screamed. "This is in a hospital ward." Jordan doesn't care about that. He needs to vent his anger, but when he was about to vent, he found that he couldn't do anything. Jordan panicked. He didn't understand what was wrong with him. Could it be that if his arm was broken, other places would also be affected? Lay, brother Lay, are you too nervous? Delia asked cautiously. You're numb when you're nervous. Lie down for me. Jordan shoved Delia abruptly and started to work again. But no matter how busy he was, it was useless at all. Cough, cough, cough. At this time, Xiaoyan walked in and saw his son following Delia. His face flushed, and he coughed twice. Jordan was startled, and Delia was so scared that she quickly put on her clothes. It's bullshit. Your arm is broken. Can you be so bullshit? Xiaoyan reprimanded Jordan. Jordan lowered his head, but his eyes were full of anger and said, Dad, I want that David to die. I will let him die. Jordan blamed himself on David's head at this time. He broke his arm and caused this. In fact, David did it, but he didn't break his arm. But when he was in the Gung family, David directly disabled Jordan's ability to be a man. Don't worry about this. Just take good care of the injury. I want to investigate that, David. Lin Tianhu didn't even move him. I want to see if there is any power behind this kid. Although Xiaoyan was also angry, he was not confused yet. He knew that Lin Tianhu would not move David. There must be a reason. Chapter 37. Dad, that kid, shut up. Before Jordan could finish speaking, Xiaoyan gave him a stern look, so frightened that Jordan didn't dare to say anything. Uncle Xiao, I know David too well. There is no background force. We have been together since college. Her father used to be a civil servant. Delia sorted out her clothes and said to Xiaoyan, You know SHT. Xiaoyan gave Delia a cold look. Women's opinion. If it weren't for you, Layer wouldn't be what she is now. She's a bum. After Xiaoyan finished speaking, he left immediately. As for the wedding of Jordan and Delia, Xiaoyan was actually against it. After all, the two families were not in the same household. Jordan insists on marrying her. Delia's face turned red and white when she was scolded by Xiaoyan, but she didn't dare to refute a word. If you want to marry into a wealthy family, this is the price. This dead David, I will never spare him. After Xiaoyan left, Delia gritted her teeth. She didn't dare to do anything to Xiaoyan and Jordan, so she could only blame David. The Gu family's house, Gu Wentian, Lin Tianhu, and David were enjoying the wine, and they were quite happy to eat this meal. The servants on the side looked at David's young age and sat with the two big figures in Horrendal, chatting and laughing. All of them were envious. Mr. Chen, today is just a light meal. Tomorrow I will hold a feast at the Regal Hotel and invite people from Horrendal's two political and business terms to participate. I want to introduce Mr. Chen in person, Gu Wentian said with a proud face. Gu Wentian's meaning was obvious. It was to pave the way for David. After this banquet, no one in Horrendal would dare to provoke David. David wants to refuse. He doesn't want to be too public. He just wants to cultivate and wait for the arrival of July 15th. But David hadn't spoken yet. But Lin Tianhu said, Then I would like to thank Gu Gu on behalf of Mr. Chen. With Gu Gu's introduction, it will be much more convenient for Mr. Chen to work in Horrendal. David saw that Lin Tianhu agreed for him, so he didn't say anything, but nodded slightly, old and polite. After the three exchanged a few more words, David and Lin Tianhu left. Palace Master, this subordinate has just agreed to the invitation for the Palace Master, and I hope that the Palace Master will not blame him. Although our dragon sex Juyatanku has developed rapidly, and our power has continued to expand, we are still unable to move an inch when we leave Horrendal. There are still a lot of forces staring at Horrendal, so we can only continue to strengthen our network. In the car, Lin Tianhu whispered to David to explain. David was slightly taken aback. Aren't you the Emperor of the Earth in Horrendal? Is there anyone who dares to oppose you? David didn't understand that Lin Tianhu was a god in Horrendal, except for politicians who would dare to provoke Lin Tianhu. After hearing this, Lin Tianhu said with embarrassment on his face, Palace Master, that's just being touted by ordinary people. In addition to our Juyi Hall, there are also the Qilong Gang and Xingyue cult in the entire Horrendal, among which the small forces are even more powerful. Countless, we Juyatang and the Qilong Gang are deadly enemies. Every year, there will be fights and mutual damage. However, Feng Sihai, the leader of the Qilong gang, doesn't know where to learn the hard Qigong. I am afraid that he is not his opponent now. David looked at Lin Tianhu, and he could see that Lin Tianhu's life in these years was not particularly good. In the eyes of outsiders, the scenery is just an appearance. People like them are in danger at any time. If someone troubles you, just find me directly, David said lightly. Since Juyatang is his subordinate, of course David can't ignore it. Lin Tianhu was overjoyed. With the words of the Hall Master, I am not afraid of anything. When the Hall Master comes forward, the ghosts and gods will give way, not to mention a mere Feng Sihai. Lin Tianhu was shocked when he saw David destroy the 9 resentful dragons today, and he fell into the ground in admiration. David smiled. He didn't expect that Lin Tianhu's flattering skills were not bad. Chapter 38. After David returned home, his parents were not at home, so he should have gone out for a walk again. In such an environment, it would be better to go out more. No one bothered. David started cultivating in the room. He has to hurry up to cultivate now, because he doesn't know what he will face on July 15th. Although the old Irvin said that that day will give him a big opportunity, who knows whether this opportunity will be accompanied by danger. Sitting cross-legged, silently reciting the condensed heart formula, David's dantian began to slowly rotate, and the surrounding aura was slowly absorbed by David and entered David's body. Even without dinner, David practiced for another night. Call. When David opened his eyes, a cloud of turbid air spewed out of his mouth. I didn't expect the power of this resentful dragon to be so powerful. David clenched his fist lightly, feeling the strong power in his body. David actually broke through. Now David has reached the 5th level of Qi training. You must know that he has been in prison for 3 years and has the guidance of the old master, and he has only broken through to the 4th level of Qi training. It broke through to the 5th floor, which made David overjoyed. David seems to have found a way to cultivate quickly. As long as he absorbs some resentment and hatred, the speed of cultivation will increase exponentially. It's a pity that this kind of thing is hard to come by. Where can I find so many things with resentment and hatred? Taking a breath, David got off the bed and simply tidied up his clothes. Is it Miss Sue? I can't see it, but I can hear you walking. At this time, Barbara's voice came from the living room outside. Auntie, you are really amazing. Sonia smiled. Don't always yell like a young lady. It's more common. Just call me Sonia. That's right, you're out, so I'll call you Sonia. Barbara smiled and nodded again and again. You're here to find David, right? He's still in the bedroom and hasn't come out yet. David, hurry up. Sonia is here for you. Barbara shouted towards David's bedroom. Auntie, don't shout, I'll call him, Sonia said, and walked straight to David's bedroom. Barbara almost jumped up in excitement when she heard Sonia walking towards David's bedroom. This kid also tricked me into being an ordinary friend. Will ordinary friends go directly to the bedroom? I really want to see what my future daughter-in-law looks like. Barbara muttered to herself. Wife, let me tell you, Miss Sue's appearance. I am afraid that the whole Horrendal is not so beautiful. Chun Baowu walked to Barbara's ear and whispered. Really? Barbara was a little surprised. She knew that Chun Baowu was very picky. When David and Delia were together, Chun Baowu was resolutely opposed. Now that Chun Baowu can say that, then Sonia's appearance must not be picked. My son is so talented. He just came out and found such a girlfriend, and he was hiding it from us. Barbara looked proud. Of course, don't look at who the son is with. If there is me in front, our son will be no worse. Chun Baowu was also very satisfied with David at this time. His gloomy face before was now wearing a smile all day long. Okay, don't blow it. Take me out for a walk and leave a 2-person world for the 2 children, Barbara said, dragging Chun Baowu out of the villa. On the other side, Sonia pushed the door and walked into David's bedroom. When she saw David standing under the bed in complete clothes, Sonia was stunned. Didn't you already get up? Why? You don't want to get up. Do you want to see me take off my clothes? David said, half jokingly. Bah, who sees the way you take off your clothes? Sonia rolled her eyes at David, but she was still a little excited. David was able to joke with her, which proved that the relationship between the two people has obviously improved a lot. I have something to do with you. Come with me. Sonia dragged David away involuntarily. David wanted to ask where to go, but Sonia directly pulled David into the car. But looking at the time, it was still too early for Gu Wentian to invite him to the banquet, so David let Sonia take him away. Chapter 39 Tianyuan Mall. This is a very famous shopping mall in Horindal. Almost all major brands have it. Seeing Sonia bring herself here, David was a little surprised. Do you want to go shopping with you? David asked timidly. You must know that it is a very scary thing to accompany a girl to the mall. David once felt it. Back then, he accompanied Delia to the mall for a day, and he already had a psychological shadow. Why? Are you not willing to accompany me? Sonia looked at David and asked. That's not it. David shook his head. In fact, David was a little proud to accompany Sonia to the shopping mall. How to say Sonia's identity and appearance are all first class. How many people can accompany such a girl to the shopping mall? People are envious, but David has something to do at noon. He has already promised Gu Wentian that he can't let other people's pigeons go. I still have something to do at noon. I'm afraid it will be delayed. David said truthfully. I don't care about you. The main task now is to accompany me to go shopping. After Sonia finished speaking, she dragged David into the mall. Looking at the dazzling array of products, Sonia dragged David to find the men's clothing area, and then gestured on David's body one by one. Are you going to buy me clothes? David was a little surprised. If I don't buy it for you, who will I buy it for? I can't hold any more clothes at home. Sonia said. Her hands were not idle. She chose one by one and finally picked out a suit and put it in David's hand. Go and try. David held the suit and didn't move for a while Sonia urged. What? Let me go in and try it on for you. No. David hurriedly shook his head and hurried into the fitting room. Seeing David so frightened, Sonia laughed, and the tenderness in her eyes became more and more obvious. When David changed clothes and came out, Sonia's eyes suddenly lit up, looking at David up and down, looking a little surprised. I didn't expect your potential to be so great. Wearing this dress, you are obviously much more handsome. Seeing Sonia's narcissistic appearance, David couldn't help but also looked in a mirror and found that he was really handsome. Since he was in prison to practice with the old master, David's material requirements have become less and less. Now that he is out of prison, although he has money, he still wears the old clothes from before. He has never thought about changing his clothes. If he has time to buy clothes, he might as well practice for a while. What are you going to do with me? To the wedding? David asked Sonia. Don't worry about it. This is more important than a wedding. Sonia took David to buy shoes and a watch, and directly dressed David into a tall, rich, and handsome look. As soon as he came, he was at peace. David could only helplessly be dragged around by Sonia, and David had more and more things on his body. Ties, belts, and even a lighter. Sonia spent tens of thousands of yuan to buy one for David. As far as David's outfit is concerned, I'm afraid there are not hundreds of thousands who can't come down. Isn't that a bit too extravagant? David was wearing this outfit and felt that he didn't dare to walk. He could understand what rich people like Sonia thought. What was the point of buying a suit of clothes for hundreds of thousands and a lighter for tens of thousands of dollars? What's so extravagant about it? You used to wear it too shabby. I won't let you wear it like that in the future, or I'll be laughed at, Sonia said lightly. But after speaking, Sonyadinly felt as if she had said something wrong, and her face instantly turned red. And David also heard it and smiled slightly. I wear shabby clothes? Why would anyone laugh at you? When David asked, Sonia's face turned even redder, so she could only glare at David and said, I have said in public that I want to be your girlfriend. Of course others take it seriously. You dress shabby. Didn't you just slap me in the face? I won't tell you. I'll go to the bathroom. You wait for me here. Sonia made an excuse and left quickly. Chapter 40. David smiled and stood there waiting for Sonia. After seeing David, many girls who passed by turned their eyes back unknowingly. There were even several who came to chat and asked for contact information, but were rejected by David. At this time, on the other side of the mall, Delia and Jiang Wenjing also came to visit the mall. Yesterday, Delia was scolded for her wholeheartedness, so she plans to buy today to make herself feel better. Delia, look quickly. There's a handsome guy standing across from him. You'll be fascinated by looking at the back. Jiang Wenjing said to Delia with some excitement. When Delia heard Jiang Wenjing's words, she hurriedly looked up, and she saw a tall boy wearing a suit, standing straight across from him. Just by looking at the back, he could feel the noble temperament of the boy. Stop being a back kill, right? Delia said in a low voice. Impossible, I can't feel it. This must be a handsome guy. Delia, you already have young Master Xiao, and this handsome guy will be handed over to me. After Jiang Wenjing finished speaking, she walked over impatiently. Delia was also curious and hurriedly followed. Handsome guy, are you waiting for someone? Jiang Wenjing stepped forward, patted the boy on the shoulder, and asked. But when the boy turned around, Jiang Wenjing and Delia were all stunned on the spot. Chun, David, why are you? Jiang Wenjing said in surprise. Delia was also full of shock. She had been with David for several years, and she had never seen David before. It seemed that people really depend on clothes and horses on saddles. Why can't it be me? David said with a cold smile when he saw Delia and Jiang Wenjing. How can you come to this mall? The things here are very expensive. Jiang Wenjing said with a puzzled face. The things in this mall are very expensive. Ordinary people have no conditions to come. In Jiang Wenjing's eyes, David's family conditions are not even ordinary enough. How can they come to this mall? And the clothes on them seem to be valuable, not cheap. Is the mall open by your house? I can come if I want. David unceremoniously choked Jiang Wenjing and immediately choked Jiang Wenjing to the point of being speechless. David, as far as you are virtuous, even if a toad wears a dragon robe, you can't become a dragon anyway. I don't know where to buy cheap goods. Come here to pretend to be a girl. Bah. Delia spat fiercely at David. Whether he can become a dragon, it's not something you chicken can say. Before David could speak, Sonia came over with a bit of coldness on her face. Wipe off your SHT for me. Sonia pointed at Delia's spit on David's clothes and said. Seeing that it was Sonia, Delia flinched a bit in her eyes. Compared with Sonia, what is she? Delia, who is the richest lady in Ho-Rendel. But in front of so many people in the mall, they called her a chicken and asked her to clean David's clothes. Of course, Delia was not happy. You don't be so mean. Don't bully people just because you're the eldest miss of the Su family. Delia tried her best to keep her momentum. I told you to wipe it off. Can't you hear it? You said that if I slap you twice now, would Jordan dare to find me? The momentum on Sonia's body obviously suppressed Delia, causing Delia's body to shake slightly. Delia knew that Sonia beat her for nothing, and Jordan would not follow the Su family for her. David looked at Delia like that. The corner of his mouth was slightly raised, and he sneered without saying a word. I'll wipe. Seeing this, Jiang Wenjing hurriedly took out a tissue, wanting to replace Delia and wipe it off for David. What are you? Can you touch my boyfriend too? Sonia directly pushed Jiang Wenjing away. Jiang Wenjing's face flushed with embarrassment, but she didn't dare to let go of AF.art. Delia didn't dare to provoke Sonia, and she didn't dare. To be continued.